Hey everyone, this is Adnan with Canvas Training Videos. This is video number 2 for 70 Microsoft Exam 70-410 installing configuring Server 2012. In the first video, we went through how to prepare our laptop, desktop, or any computer for our lab setup, in which we installed, downloaded VMware Workstation, and then we copied, we brought the images, and then at the end I showed you how to create a virtual machine. Guys, in the second video, I'm going to show you how to create our lab servers. This is now in order to create lab servers. First of all, let me show you our network, our infrastructure that we need, the lab infrastructure. So in the lab, in this complete training 70-410, we are going to have 2 servers and 1 client. So here are my 2 servers. So server number 1 name is, first of all, both of them are server 2012. So this is server 2012 R2. You are going to need server 2012 R2, and this is Windows 7. It can be Windows 8 as well. And the second thing is the server name is egreenserve01. Second server name is egreenserve02. First server's IP address is 192.168.100.10. Subnet mask remains automatically 255.255.255.255.0, and DNS is 192.168.100.10 for the first server. So DNS is basically the same IP address of this server, and the second server is 192.168.100.20 and subnet mask, and DNS IP address actually on this server will be pointing to this IP address. So DNS for all the server, all clients will be the same first server. Now, and same goes for the client name is egreen. The client name is egreen, and egreen CL1, the client name is, and the IP address 192.168.100.30. Subnet mask remains the same, and DNS will point to the first server. So let's get started. So right after the architecture, what we need to see is, so we've seen the lab architecture, which is this. And right after this, we need to understand that we have 2 servers and 1 client. So both servers are server 2012 R2 and Windows 7, and the client is Windows 7. IP addressing is this. And then the most important thing, that whenever we create any VMs in these labs, in our training labs especially, we follow this server build guideline. Our server build guideline is this, meaning all VMs that we're going to create, all servers we're going to create, we're going to follow all these rules. Number 1, create a VM, and then we need to rename it properly inside the VM and outside the VM, and I'm going to show you where this is done, which is the VM name should be exactly as this, and inside computer name should be this as well. And then once the names are set up, we need to disable the firewall on Windows on all these machines, and then disable IE enhanced configuration, especially on servers. And then we assign IP address settings at the end. Then we'll check the connectivity between the VMs by pinging VMs. So let's get started. So in this, I'm gonna use VMware Workstation that I installed. Now in your machine, maybe you have nothing in here. All we need to do is you need to go to Open VMware Workstation. If you don't have VMware Workstation, just go to you need to watch video number 1, part 1 of 70-410 training. Now once you have VMware Workstation, you open it. You can open it. I can see it here because I pinned it here. You can also find it right here. You should find it on a desktop if VMware is installed. Once it is here, all you need to do is you need to go to Home, and just create a new VM, or you can also go to File and create a new VM. What am I following? I'm following this server build guideline. So I'm going to create a VM, and then I'm going to rename them. First, let's create a VM. So here, create a VM, and next. And since it will be server 2012, we need to make sure that we provide our ISO here. So you select this option, And here we need to provide which ISO, because I'm creating the first server. I need the ISO for this server. ISO will be server 2012 R2. So here, browse, and these are all my ISOs here. So I have server 2012 ISO, this one. Double click on this. So once you have the ISO, all you need to do, click next. And here you need to use a name. So this is the outside name of the VM. And here the name of the server is eGreenSRV01. So make sure names are exactly the same. So this is eGreenSRV01. eGreenSRV01, and next. We'll leave that as is, and next, and done. So this is my first server being created. It might take a few minutes. As soon as it starts, as soon as it loads the file, it will ask you a few simple questions, and then it will be on its way to be created as server 2012. So we'll wait for a few moments before I start the second server, although I can go to home and create a new server, but let's wait for this one. So here on this server, when we started the CD, it will ask us the language. You don't have to change anything. We need English all the way. And then we need to press next and then install. And once the setup starts, it should ask you which version of server 2012 do you need. So server 2012 comes in a standard version. It also comes as a data center version. So it comes as standard version and data center version. And standard version comes as core. It can also come as GUI. Core is just a command line operating system. We are not using this one, but we are going to use standard evaluation server with GUI. And you click next, and then accept the agreement. And here it gives you two options. You can upgrade existing Windows. For example, you might have server 2008 and you want to upgrade it to 2012. You can use this option. But if it's a brand new server, just like in our case, we need to select custom install Windows only. So here you would select this, and then it asks you for how big the disk should be. We'll leave this as is. If you need to partition this disk, you can partition it, but at this point we are not partitioning it, we're leaving it as is. And then next. And now it goes on automatic install. So at this point it is copying files, then it will be getting ready for the installation, installing features, update. So it might take anywhere from 15 minutes to half an hour, depending on what type of computer you have. If you have, so in my case, my host computer is i7, and it has 24 GB of RAM, and it has 1 TB of SSD. Now, so if you don't have SSD, actually SSD makes a lot of difference. I would highly recommend for these labs, get a minimum i5 and 16 GB of RAM, and SSD is must. If you want to make your life easier with these labs, SSD is must. So in my case, I think it's going to take 20 minutes, maybe less. Now I'll leave that as is. So this server is being installed. I'm going to go back to home and I'll create my second server. So second server, same way, typical. Here just make sure server 2012 is selected, the server 2012 ISO is selected, and then next. And here now name it properly. So my second server name is, keep on looking at your architecture diagram, which is basically this. So I just created this server. I haven't set up the IP address, but now I'm going to create the second server, eGreenServe2, which is this one. It is server 2012 and the IP addressing is here. So I'm going to name it eGreenSRV02. And as soon as you change the name here, once it appears here, the name will be given here as well. So make sure you provide this name, and then next, and next, and done. So just like this one, it is going on. It will start a setup as well. So this is a good thing about VMware Workstation or any virtualization technology. where we can work on multiple servers at the same time, multiple VMs at the same time. So my first VM is just going on doing the install. This is my second server, in which it is waiting for some. It will ask me the same questions: what type of language do I need, and then after that, which version should I select. So here is the language, and install now, and right after that, it will ask me if it should be a standard version or data center version. We are selecting standard version GUI, or you can also go with data center GUI. They both have exactly the same interface. In real environment, this is cheaper as compared to data center. Data center is expensive. It has almost the same feature as this, but the biggest difference is this can give you unlimited number of VMs in this server. This gives you only 2 VMs per server. But for now, we need standard version and we need GUI make sure. So next, and right after that, you agree with the terms and conditions. And here, just select custom and select the same disk, and it's gonna be on its way for installation. So first server, as you can see, all these steps are done, and first server is restarting, and second server is on its way for installation. Now, since I do have my host machine is pretty good, it's as I said, it's i7, 24 GB of RAM and SSD. I can create a third machine at the same time. Now, if your machine is a bit slower, leave these two servers to being created, and because if you start the third server and fourth server, it's gonna slow up your environment. So here I can install. So first server is being installed, and the second server is right here. Let me see where first server is going now. The first server is starting up, and second server is going on. Now I'm going to create the third machine, which is Windows 7. So go to Home and create a machine. And in this case, now you must change this. If you don't change this, it will become a third server. So here you need to browse and then find a Windows 7 ISO. In my case, it is sitting here. So I'm going to select this. In your case, just like in our previous lab, we created a folder named Canis, and in which we copied everything. So here, you just take it from there. I have in this location, and next, and here the name. What is the client machine name? Client machine name is egreen CL01. CL is for client and egreen for Evergreen College. So here, egreen CL01. And then next, and next, and next. Now it takes some time to create a disk for this client machine, so we'll leave that as is. And in the meantime, first server, second server being installed, it might take a few minutes. So during that time, I'm gonna pause this video. For a few moments. Once this is done, I'm gonna come back. Okay, so Windows 7 is being installed now. Server 2012, both servers are stopped at this location. So we started with the installation, and then after a few reboots, it stopped here. Now the very first thing, we need to provide a password for administrator. Let's provide our standard password, P capital and ASSWORD, password 1. For all our labs, we use the same password, so retype 2 times. So password 1 and password 1. Just re-enter the same password, and all you need to do is press finish. Once it is done, it will log you in, and then it stops here, server 1, and now it says Control Alt Delete. Either you press Control Alt Delete on your keyboard, or the easiest way is just press this icon. So once you do, it's here. Now the same password that you just added, password 1, enter, and you will log in. And once the first time it logs in, it is logging in for the first time, and it will take you to this screen. The very first time when it starts, it will start with the server manager. Server manager is a tool where you do everything within the server. We need to add roles. We can add roles from the server. We can connect to other servers from the server manager. So server manager is our first tool. And here you see all of the roles that are installed. For now, the only role by default that exists is file and storage services. Now we need to do a few things on this server. We need to rename this server, we need to assign IP address, we need to disable firewall. So just like this is the server build guide. So we just created a VM, we just provided a name for the outside of the server, which is outside VM name. Now we need to do these. We need to rename inside name, we need to disable firewall, we need to disable IE, and then assign IP address. So let's do it. So what I'm going to do, first of all, from the server manager, make sure you go to local server, and then from the local server, this is a computer name and a random name is given. So very first thing, we need to have this name, actually this name exactly as inside name. So in order to make this name as this name, all you need to do is just click on this name and then click change, and then here change the name to green SRV 01, so same as the first name, and enter. Now as soon as you change the name, the machine needs to restart. Now you can restart now or maybe after doing all the changes. So I'm gonna say restart later, but remember to restart. And then just to save some time, so this name will be changed in a minute when we restart it. So we need to disable firewall. Firewall is right here. Just click on this, and then right here go to turn Windows firewall on or off. Just turn off the firewall. So once this is red, you can close this. And then next thing is right here, disable IE enhanced security. So basically we disable firewall and disable IE enhanced security config. And it is right here, IE enhanced security. It is on, you need to just switch it off. So once these are off, and next part is just set up the IP address. IP address, so we change the name, we disable firewall, and as you can see it is just say on. All you need to do is just refresh. Once you refresh, it will show you it is off. It won't show you the new name unless you start the server, and we're going to start it. But for now, I need to assign IP address. The IP address that I'm going to need is this one to the first server. So all I need to do is just click here, double click on Ethernet 01, and then properties, and then disable IPv6. So always disable this option, and then select the second IPv4 option, IPv4 properties, and then go here, change to use IP address, and here we're going to type our IP address. So 192.168.100.10, and then as soon as you're done, just click here, mouse click here, it automatically brings this. And the third thing, we need to assign DNS address, just like here. So we did assign IP address, we did assign subnet mask, and now we need to prefer DNS is this. So going back, this is my preferred DNS and preferred DNS IP address. And done. So IP address is done, firewalls are done, name is changed, and now we are safe to restart a computer. But so before restarting, what I want you to do is I want to install VMware Tools as well on this. So here, now before restarting, so we just change the name, we disable the firewall, we also disable the IE enhanced security, we assign the IP address, and one more time refresh. As soon as you refresh, it shows you the right IP address. And then now all we need to do is go to VM and say install VMware Tools. Once you install VMware Tools, it should show you, in few moments it will show you the screen. If it doesn't show you this for any reason, sometime it doesn't show the screen, then you can always go to here, and then you can go to computer, and here it shows you VM, the icon, VMware Tools. Just double click on this, make sure this setup is finished properly. So it is starting up now. In few moments it will start up. So here, if it doesn't automatically pop up this window, just select this icon and then click next and install. Now VMware tools are very important to be installed on all these machines, because with VMware tools the mouse and keyboard runs faster, and plus some more benefits you get by installing VMware tools. How do you install it? You need to go to VM, and then here you need to install. For now it is being installed, and you see as soon as it was installed, now you can see full screen. So finish. Again it will ask you to restart. Now we're gonna restart. So once it is restarting everything, this server is ready. And now I'm gonna do the same thing what I did on this one on this server. So this time just assign password 1. Secondly, finish, and then it logs in. If it asks you to Control Alt Delete, you can press from keyboard Control Alt Delete, or you can just click this here and then administrator password. Once it logs in, it starts the server manager automatically. So once server manager comes up, so we need to first rename it. So go to local server and then go to server name or computer name and change it to exactly what this name is here. So we're gonna say this is egreen srv02, egreen srv02, and then okay, and okay, and close, and don't restart now, so restart later. And then change the firewall, disable the firewall, disable. So once this is done, then disable IE enhanced security, and then next set up the IP address. So IP address. So second server's IP address, keep an eye on your architecture diagram. This is my second server. IP address is 100.20, 192.168.100.20, and subnet mask and DNS. So we need to do this exactly. Just disable IPv6 here and then select this option, and then properties, here say assign IP address 192.168.100.20, and then either press tab or click here, and then prefer DNS if it is pointing to the first server. So it is pointing to the first server, and click OK and done. So once this is all done, all you need to do is press refresh, and you would see that it will be off, and you see the IP address here. And then last thing we need to do, install VMware Tools. So install VMware Tools. In few moments it would load the CD here. If it doesn't load, all you need to do, just scroll down and go to Windows Explorer, go to computer, and just double click on this. As soon as it is done, it will take a moment to run the setup and install the VMware tool. After that, this machine will restart. So here sometime it doesn't pop up, so you need to select here, and it is running. You don't have to select anything inside the wizard. You just go next. It will install the required VMware tools. And then let me pause the screen. So it took few moments and came to the screen, and next, install. It is installing VMware tools. So while this is installing VMware tool, let's look at first server. It just restarted. So now we're gonna log in. So press Control Alt Delete. This is shortcut for Control Alt Delete. And here will say it is logging in, and then as soon as it logs in, it takes you to the server manager again. Let's look at this. This is already installing it. Here it is starting up. So now while this is being installed and that is logged in, we'll leave that as is, and we'll finish the setup. Now as soon as the setup is finished, you see the screen goes bigger because of VMware Tools. So sometimes when the screen is smaller, it just means that maybe VMware Tools are not installed properly. So finish and it will restart. Just let it restart and we'll jump to the client here. In client, all you need to do, you need to again do the same thing. You need to set up the IP address, set up the name properly, and then disable firewall. So basically we need to do these things. Firewall, disable firewall. You don't have to do this on client, but firewall disable and assign IP address and change name. So, but in client, just look carefully. Things are in a different place as compared to here. In this server, you have a server manager which makes it convenient to do all the stuff, but here we need to do individually. So first of all, we need to go to, or maybe you can run a tool called OBE. Oh, that doesn't exist in server, and it only exists in server. So okay. So all we need to do on a client machine, we need to go to here, right click on this icon, and then right here select Open Network and Sharing, go to Adapter, go to Local Area Connection, and then go to Properties, and within Properties just disable IPv6. This is IPv6, just disable, and then select IPv4 and Properties, and go to IP address 192.168.100.30. How do I know? Because here the architecture says it is Windows 7 and it is 30 and rest is the same. So go back to the server, it is the same, and then right here it is pointing to the first machine. So 10. Make sure this is exactly the same, and then OK, press OK, and done. And now we need to change the computer name. In order to change the computer name, you need to select Start and right click on a computer and go to Properties. And then right here you need to go into here. So here it shows you computer name is this, which is a random name. We need to change this to exactly this name. So change settings and change, and then change this name to that name, Green CL01. Oh, it's not typing. One more time. Green CL01. And just select OK. It will take a moment and it will ask you to restart. Don't restart at the moment, but let's first disable firewall. So right click here and then open Network and Sharing Center. Okay, it's actually already open. We'll restart later. And then one more time. So right click here, disabling firewall. We need to disable firewall like this. Right click on this, open Network and Sharing Center, and here you have Windows Firewall. And in this, see the green, they are green. We need to stop them. So turn Windows Firewall on or off. And here we need to turn them off, and done. Once this is done, the last thing, so we set up the IP address, we disable the firewall, and then the last thing we need to do is just restart this machine once. Where is restarting? In the meantime, let's look at server number 1. Server number 1 is logged in. Server number 2 is restarted. Let's log into server number 2 as well. So password 1. So it is starting up, and my client machine came back as well. Now the last point I need to do, I need to just check connectivity between all three of them. So first of all, from client, let's ping. We need to ping. Ping is a command that can check connectivity between this and this. So all we need to do, open command prompt. So on a client machine, go to start, and then either you write cmd and enter. This you can do, or you can also do start all programs, go to accessories, and write here command prompt. But the easiest way to do it, just go here and in search just say cmd, enter, and now here I need to ping server number 1. So ping, ping, and I would say 192.168 and 100.10, the IP address of the first server. As long as it replies back like this, it means that it's working. Now let's say I enter a wrong IP address, so 76, which doesn't exist. In this case, it will try to ping, but it will give you error message. It's saying destination, this is error and this is correct. So from here to here it's pinging. Now here to server 2. So in order to ping to server 2, let's clear screen. For clear screen, just type CLS and then enter. And then type the command again, ping, ping 192.168.100.20. This is my second server, and it is pinging to second server. We need to do the same thing from this server back to this one. So in this server, it's a bit different. All you need to do is you need to go here, move the mouse all the way to this corner here. As soon as you do, first of all, click on the server and then move your mouse all the way here. As soon as you do, this pops up. This pops up. Now this comes as soon as you bring your mouse all the way here, and then as soon as this starts, so it is doing something. All I need to do, I need to start the command prompt. Now this is known as command prompt. This is known as command prompt. Now while this is coming back, I can go to server 1 and go to start, and right here within this green, within this blue place, all you need to do is you need to type cmd. As soon as you do, command prompt opens, and all you need to do, ping 192.168 100.20. So I'm pinging the other server, it is pinging. I can ping the client as well, which is ping 192.168 and 100.30. So they are all pinging each other. We can check that out from server 2 as well. So go to that blue place. This server is being a bit slow. Maybe we just need a restart, but otherwise we need to do the same thing. I'll just restart this once. So actually it is trying to look for something on the server. Let us just sometime maybe, oh, actually it stopped. Let's actually I'm here now. Now on this screen I'll just type cmd. Now although this server is slow, in your case it might not be slow, but in this case it's a bit slow, so just type cmd and enter. So it opens this, and here all you need to do, type ping, type the first server name 192.168.100.10 and enter. So it's pinging, meaning this server is, and now ping the client. So again, ping 192.168.100.30, and it should be pinging. It is pinging. So meaning all three servers are configured based on our architecture and based on following the good practice server build guidelines. So this is how we create our infrastructure. So in this video we have seen understanding our architecture for the lab, and then we created 3 VMs, we follow these guidelines, and in the next video we're going to install Active Directory. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm going to see you in the next video.